I'm Matthew Galgani with a quick overview of how to use chart patterns to get in early on winning stocks. We all want to catch the best stocks before they make a major price move. But how can you do that? By learning to spot the telltale chart patterns that serve as launching pads for a big run. The three most common patterns, also known as bases, are the cup with handle, double bottom, and flat base. These patterns repeat themselves year after year, decade after decade. So once you learn these three basic formations, you'll be well on your way to spotting winning stocks in every strong market uptrend. We'll get into the details of each one in separate videos. For now, let's take a look at an example of how profitable these chart patterns can be, then go over 5 key things to understand about bases. Everyone now knows the story of Apple and how Steve Jobs re-energized the company with the iPod, iPhone, and iPad. But back in early 2004, that story wasn't so obvious. But savvy investors who knew what telltale patterns to look for saw Apple was forming a classic cup with handle pattern, which looks like a teacup viewed from the side. Here's the cup, and here's the handle. Apple broke out of that base and went up 596% from March 2004 to January 2006. And that's just one example of how the top stocks in every market uptrend form these same patterns before they make their big gains. So let's take a look at 5 key things to understand about bases. First, when a stock is forming and breaking out of a chart pattern, make sure it also has solid earnings and sales growth, a strong return on equity, and other vital CAN-SLIM traits. It's that combination of strong fundamentals and good chart action that separates the leaders from the also-rans. You can see if a stock meets the key benchmarks by running it through the buying checklist in my book, How to Make Money in Stocks Getting Started. Second, understand that winning stocks typically form multiple bases as they make a major price move. For example, as Apple made that 596% gain we noted earlier, it formed several chart patterns along the way. Those bases are like resting periods for a hiker making his way up the mountain. Stocks take a breather to digest those prior gains and use that time to set up a new base that launches the next stage of the climb. The second half of the base forms when large investors start to buy more shares in anticipation of a future gain. When that buying picks up steam, the stock punches through its old area of resistance and moves higher. That gives you an opportunity to add shares or buy into a winning stock if you missed the earlier breakout. That brings us to the third point about chart patterns. The biggest gains are typically made as a stock breaks out of a first or second stage base. How to count bases is covered in a separate video, but here's the main point. Nothing goes up forever. By the time a stock has formed 3 or 4 bases, it's already made a big run and may be running out of steam. Fund managers and other institutional investors may start to liquidate their positions, and that could push the share price lower. So as a rule of thumb, focus on first and second stage bases, and understand that later stage bases can work but are more risky. The fourth key point about bases is that most form during a market downtrend or correction. Most stocks move higher when the market is in an uptrend, then pull back when a downtrend hits. The best stocks will form a new cup with handle or other base while the market is down, then spring higher as soon as a new uptrend begins. That's what Chipotle Mexican Grill did back in 2010. Around the same time the Market Pulse and IBD noted a change in market direction from an uptrend to market in correction, Chipotle pulled back to form this cup with handle. Then as soon as the Market Pulse outlook changed back to confirmed uptrend, Chipotle broke out and soared higher. The biggest winners often do that. They form a base when the market is down, then take off within just a few days or weeks after a new uptrend begins as savvy investors see more opportunities to buy. That's why it's critical to build your watch list even when the market is in a correction. Look for stocks that have big earnings growth and other CAN-SLIM traits and are forming one of these telltale chart patterns. Those are the ones most likely to make large gains in the next uptrend. Last but not least, understand that IBD helps you find stocks forming these telltale patterns. You'll find alerts to such stocks in the IBD 50, Your Weekly Review, Sector Leaders, and other features. Here's an example for Green Mountain Coffee Roasters from your weekly review on March 13th, 2009. The chart analysis said, cup with handle appears with buy point at $42.99. Here's where your weekly review noted Green Mountain's potential buy point. Green Mountain was also featured in the daily stock analysis video the same day. So if you were doing the simple weekend routine at that time, you could have had the stock on your watch list. The very next week, Green Mountain broke out and soared more than 1,000% over the next 2.5 years. That's just a quick overview of why it's so important and profitable to always look for top-rated stocks forming a sound chart pattern. So keep these 5 points in mind as you watch the videos for the cup with handle, double bottom, and flat base. They'll help you get in early on the winning can slim stocks that appear in every market uptrend.